Hi everybody, me again, and I just wanted to shoot a short video today talking about the power blocks. In particular, I have the power block urethane set. I'm pretty sure they don't sell this set anymore, but it's very much similar. It's very similar to the current sets. The only difference being is this rubber cover on them. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about something I haven't seen too many videos address, which is the balance of the weight on power blocks. And I'm not talking about just because of the funky shape, but because of these adder weights that you could put into it. So I'll give you a little glimpse into that right now. Flip this camera. So this is the set that I was talking about. You can see here that they're called the Powerblock urethanes. Very similar to any of the other sets. This one goes up to 90 pounds total. The handle itself being 15 without the adder weights. The adder weights are right over here. And then 17.5 if you add one adder weight, and if you add both adder weights, it goes up to 20. So how do you add the adder weights? I'm pretty sure you've seen this. If you're watching this video, you just remove this pin, which would then remove the handle itself. Now you can see here that it's in the closed position. So the adder weight holes have these little clips to stop the weights from coming out. So basically, if you flip it to open, you flip this over, this is when you're able to take one of these weights, which each one weighs about 2.5 pounds, and you could slide one in here. Again, if you put one in, it goes, the handle goes from 15 pounds to 17.5 pounds. You add the second one in, and you're up to 20 pounds for this handle. What stops these from coming out, again, is if you switch this to the lock or the closed position. Now you can see that those covers have blocked it, and if I were to flip it over, the weights don't fall out. So while I love the power blocks because of how quickly you could change the weights on these, it's just a matter of moving a pin to add on the weight. The problem lies in when you have the adder weights into position. So I'll show you right now. When you have the adder weights in, they both go out the bottom here. So when you're holding the weight, let's see if I can get this to look right. There we go. Sorry about that. When you're holding the weight, the balance is completely off. So it's unlike a dumbbell that you were to pick up where the weight distribution is on one side and the other side equally. Right now, the weight is predominantly coming from the bottom because that's where the two adder weights are. So the weight is heaviest on the bottom. Where that comes into play, or where it's an issue, isn't so much the pressing exercises, because once you get a weight into position for a pressing exercise, now you can see that the majority of the weight is at the top, and when you press this up, you're balancing that weight, so that doesn't feel bad. When I could start to feel it is mostly when I'm doing something similar to a side raise, let's say. So typically you do a side raise with a barbell or dumbbell, and let me show you really quickly. So like I mentioned, when you have a barbell, this one just has a 2.5, so it's about a 5-pound barbell, or dumbbell, excuse me. When you have a dumbbell in your hand, and you're doing a side raise, the weight is on both sides of your hand, right? So it's, the weight pulls straight down from your hand. The weight pulls straight down. The problem is with a power block, when you have the weight, adder weights are in here, the weight is pulling straight down on the other side of your wrist, so it's not on this side and this side like a barbell, like a dumbbell is. Hard to explain or to really describe it, but it makes my elbows hurt after a while because this weight is unevenly distributed. So when I add on, when you add on these extra plates, the plates themselves are perfectly placed because I'll pull one out. Because the weight is similar to a dumbbell, where the weight is on the two ends. That's not a problem. That is perfect, in fact. Very much like a dumbbell, the weight is on the two ends. The problem is, again, like I said, those adder weights put unnecessary stress when you're doing certain exercises. Like for me, that side raise, because that weight is on this side of the power block versus on the sides, it adds this additional pulling of my wrist down. So you try to correct it because of the weight, and it causes me elbow pain. Now, obviously, the way to correct that would be to just remove the adder weights before you perform certain exercises. But I just found it funny that I haven't seen too many people talk about that. So I kind of want to just address that today. Again, if you look at the handle itself with this area here where you put the adder weights in, it's unlike a dumbbell at all, where, sorry if it sounds very redundant, but you know, a dumbbell, the weight is at the ends. Here, compared to a power block with the adder weights, the weight is on one side. So I do tend to remove the adder weights when I do certain exercises. The only problem is it makes it a little less convenient when I'm trying to do a superset. So for example, if I'm doing a bicep tricep superset, where I'm doing a bicep curl, I need to remove the adder weights, because when you're doing a bicep curl, I'll do the side view. When I do a bicep curl, these weights, adder weights, are pulling this way. So it just makes me correct by curling my wrist, which takes away from the tension on my bicep. So I'll remove these when I'm doing a bicep curl, but when I'm doing a tricep kickback, having the adder weights in is beneficial for me, because when you kick it back, right, I want the weight, this added weight, on the back end, because it puts additional tension on my tricep. So I like the feeling of the adder weights when I'm doing a tricep movement, but not so much when I'm doing a bicep movement. So if I'm doing a superset, bicep tricep superset, where let's say I could do a 30-pound curl, you can't get 30 pounds without the adder weights added. When you remove the adder weights, everything's in fives. So I could do a 25, which is too light, or a 35, which is too heavy. And then when I switch over to a tricep movement, let's say I could do a 40-pound kickback. And again, you cannot get 40 pounds without the adder weights in it. Without the adder weights, you could only get 35 or 45. One might be too light, the other one might be too heavy. So it goes from the convenience of just it goes from the convenience of just removing this pin and moving it and then doing your next exercise, to having to remove the pin, and then unlock it, and then take out the adder weights. So it's only real inconvenience for me when I'm doing certain supersets where I need specific weights, and I can't achieve it without having to add the adder weights in and removing the adder weights. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick video to talk a little bit about that. For those who do have Powerblocks, I've had these, or have had used Powerblocks for over a decade, and I wouldn't say I attribute some of my aches and pains. I'm old, so I would say that over time it can start to cause an issue with the weight distribution. But like I said, it's only on very specific weights. If you're doing any pressing motion, like you're doing a flat bench chest press, because of your position, that's not a problem with these adder weights. The adder weights are balanced on the top, so you don't feel the Powerblocks pulling in one way or the other. But when you do a bicep curl, you definitely feel the adder weights pulling your wrist out. When I do, what other exercises would I would say I feel it? Lateral raises. When I'm doing a lateral raise, I'll feel that weight pulling my wrist down. So take that, as you will, but I just want to mention it. The weight distribution on a Powerblock handle, when you have the adder weights in, it's end heavy. It's not distributed evenly like a dumbbell here on the sides. The weight should be distributed here and here so that it feels comfortable or more natural like a regular dumbbell, but instead the weight distribution is here at the ends, which, like I said, over time it might cause some wear and tear or additional pain when doing certain exercises. So yeah, just want to shoot that short video to show you guys a little bit, or talk to you a little bit about my experience with Powerblocks. Again, I use them almost every time I work out. They do come in very handy. I use my Powerblocks for movements where I could switch quickly, and I'll baby them. I don't drop them. I use my Iron Masters more when I'm doing my heavier workouts, heavier weights, where I can fail and I could feel comfortable in bailing and dropping them on a mat. So, yep. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.